Have you been hearing all kinds of things about the carnivore diet that makes you think it's too hard, too unhealthy, or just plain impossible? You're not alone. There's a ton of misinformation out there, and it's stopping people from getting real results. Today, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest lies about the carnivore diet and reveal the truth behind them. These myths are myths that could be holding you back from feeling your best. I've been eating the carnivore diet for over 1 year and lost more than 20 kilos and completely transformed my energy and health, so I know what works and what is just plain wrong. Stick around till the end and I'll share one of simple tips that will make your carnivore journey so much easier, and it's something almost everyone misses. The first thing is that you'll feel tired and weak. Starting the carnivore diet often comes with a learning curve, especially when it comes to energy levels. Many people believe that cutting out carbs will leave them feeling tired and drained. But what if the problem isn't the diet itself, but how you're approaching it? Feeling low on energy is a common complaint for beginners, and it's easy to blame the carnivore diet. The truth is, your body is adapting to a new fuel source, fat, instead of carbs, which takes time. This process, often called fat adaptation, can leave feeling sluggish if you don't manage it properly. Most beginners make 2 critical mistakes. They don't eat enough fat and they don't get enough electrolytes. For example, when carbs are eliminated, your body flushes out water and sodium, which can lead to dehydration and fatigue. It's not uncommon to hear people say, "I tried carnivore diet but felt horrible." But it usually happens because they didn't support the body during the transition. A common objection is, "I've already tried eating more fat and it didn't help me." The answer: you weren't eating enough salt to balance the extra water loss. To feel great on carnivore, focus on 2 things. Eat fatty cuts of meat like ribeye or pork belly, and add 1 or 2 tablespoons of salt to your meals daily. These small changes can make all the difference in how you feel during the first few weeks. Now that you know how to manage your energy, let's talk about another big myth: the cost of the carnivore diet. It is too expensive, they say. One of the most common arguments against the carnivore diet is that it is way too expensive. People assume that eating steak every day will destroy their budget. But what if I told you this diet can actually save you money? The belief that carnivore diet is expensive comes from the assumption that you need to eat expensive cuts like filet mignon or ribeye for every meal. In reality, there are plenty of budget-friendly options that provide the same results. For example, ground beef, pork shoulder, and chicken thighs are all affordable choices that fits perfectly into carnivore lifestyle. Let's say you're feeding a family. Buying a bulk from the butcher or even splitting a cow with friends can significantly cut costs. Some people might argue that they can't afford eating meat exclusively, but you can compare the cost of a carnivore meal to eating or buying processed snacks. You often find that carnivore is cheaper in the long run. Plus, when you're eating nutritional dense food, you naturally eat less because your body feels satisfied. By choosing affordable cuts and shopping smart, you can stick to a carnivore diet without breaking the bank. You don't need fancy meats, just simple, whole cuts of animal protein. Speaking of simple and effective, let's address the myth that carnivore is bad for your muscles. The third myth is that you lose muscles without carbs. That is another common concern, is that cutting out carbs will make you lose muscles instead of fat. People worry that without carbs to fuel their workouts, they won't be able to maintain strength or building muscles. But is that really true? The idea that you need carbs to maintain muscles comes from the belief that your body requires carbohydrates for energy and recovery. However, research and real-world experience shows that your body is perfect capable of using fat as a primary fuel source even for high-intensity exercise. In fact, many people on the carnivore diet report maintaining or even increasing their muscle mass. For instance, ketones produced when you're adapting fat adapted provide steady energy sources without the crashes that comes with carb-based fueling. Some skeptics might say, but don't you need carbs for glycogen? Here is the truth. Your body can create glycogen from protein and fat through a process called glycogenesis. It is a myth that your muscles will waste away without carbs. To protect your muscles and fuel your workouts, prioritize eating enough protein and fat. Think of foods like ribeye, eggs, or ground beef, which provide everything your body needs for recovery and strength. With the proper nutrition, you can maintain or even enhance your performance on carnivore diet. Now that we have addressed the muscles myth, let's move on to fear that holds your people back. The idea that you're missing out on essential nutrition without vegetables. Because the fourth myth is that you probably miss out on nutritional dense food without veggies. One of the biggest fears is on the carnivore diet is that it lacks essential nutrition. After all, we've been told for years that vegetables are necessary for vitamins, fiber, and overall health. But what if your body doesn't actually need as much from plants as you've been led to believe? The idea that the carnivore diet is nutritionally incomplete comes from a misunderstanding of nutritional absorption, how nutritional absorption works. Meat, especially fatty cuts and organs meat, contains nearly all the essential nutrition your body needs, including vitamin A, D, E, and K, as well as B vitamins, iron, and zinc. For example, vitamin C requirements are lower on zero-carb diets because your body uses it different when you're not consuming sugar. People often say, but what about fiber? Don't you need it for digestion? And in reality, many people find their digestion improves on the carnivore diet because they're avoiding plant-based irritants like oxalates and lectins. A common objection is, I'll get screwed to be without fruits and veggies. The truth, screwvity is extremely rare for those eating nutritionally dense animal foods, especially organ meats. The carnivore diet can provide all the nutrition your body needs when you're focusing on a variety of meats, including fatty cuts and organ meats. You don't need veggies to thrive. Your body absorbs nutrition more efficiently from animal sources. Now that we have tackled nutrition myth, let's talk about another major misconception: how sustainable carnivore diet is in the long run. The fifth myth is it's impossible to stick to. Many people believe that the carnivore diet is too restrictive to maintain long term. They may think eliminating all the plant-based foods will lead to more boredom and eventually causing them to give up. But what if simplicity of the diet is actually the greatest strength? The belief that the carnivore diet is unsustainable often comes from people who haven't tried it or didn't stick with it long enough to see the benefits. One of the biggest surprises for beginners is how cravings for carbs and sugars often disappears after the first few weeks. For example, most people find they're feeling full and satisfied for longer periods, reducing the needs for constant snacks or variety. Critics might argue, but don't get bored eating the same thing every day. In reality, there are more variety carnivore than people think. Different cuts of meat, seafood, egg, and eventually dairy that tolerates and simplicity of having fewer food choices, eliminating decision sticks to another diet. The carnivore diet isn't restrictive, it's freeing. Once you experience how satisfying and simple it is, sticking with it becomes second nature. Now that you know the truth about these 5 carnivore meals, let's wrap things up with a quick takeaway to help you on your journey. You've just uncovered the truth behind these 5 of the biggest lies about the carnivore diet, and you're armed with the knowledge to succeed, ready to take your carnivore journey to the next level. Hit subscribe, and I'll tell you in the next video where we dive in more tips of how this diet works. Just press this video and we see you over there.